Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. So I'm going to try and hold this as still as possible. So I'm looking at my hair now and thinking it doesn't look as bad as I thought that it was, which is one example. If you've read my community post, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's one example of how things, when you have ADHD, everything kind of builds up and everything can become a problem at once, and it leads to overwhelm, which, by the way, can be pretty constant when you have ADHD. You know, when things are a problem, everything is a problem. Everything that you see is an issue because it's adding to your overload of information. It kind of makes me see why I was turning to minimalism, why I was meditating regularly, why I wanted just to be in nature all the time, away from everything and all the problems in life. It's interesting, and I have been struggling, and you know, it's never something I like to admit. I keep it pretty much to myself. I don't allow anybody to know that I'm struggling. Even my partner was quite taken aback, I think, by how much I was struggling. Like, he didn't understand what was wrong with me at all, and I'm like, well, sorry. Of course he doesn't. Like, how would he know? I haven't told him at all. And I just tend to not tell people when I'm struggling. When I made the decision to go from 25 to 18, I think that I have a really important point to make. Is the initial thing that made me want to start doing this and think about this and think about all the reasons why was my feelings towards my past self. So ultimately the root of all this was based on my own feelings or emotions around who I used to be, feeling bad for who I used to be, looking back and being like, you know, just wanting to sort of take care of that person who couldn't take care of herself, who did have no idea what was wrong with her. I haven't taken a hay fever tablet today, which is why I sound a bit like this. And also, yeah. Anyway, I have a lot to talk about, and I'm not going to be able to put it into one video, mostly because it is, I don't know, like 7:30 a.m. and I start work at 8:30, so I'll have to go at some point. Yesterday, this whole weekend, I've just been feeling very bad. I'm very overwhelmed, unable to cope, and it's not just been this weekend, it's been slowly, gradually getting worse, and the weekend seemed to be the hardest, because I'm looking back on my weekend and thinking, what have I done this weekend? I've done nothing, other than just be annoyed with myself. Or not even just annoyed with myself, just annoyed in general, and just irritable and moody. And it's been approximately 7 weeks since I started taking the 18 milligrams, and my reasonings were when I think back to it, yes, the root was based on feelings, and at the time I was thinking I shouldn't be making decisions based on my feelings, so I was trying to think of the reasons why I should be, I should try experimenting, changing my medication dose, and I've just lost my train of thought. Like, this is really frustrating, and yeah, it was based on feelings, the root, but then I put reasons into it, and I thought those reasons were valid enough, and I have no regrets. I think this has been an experiment, and last night I took 25 milligrams. I have approximately 3 weeks left, so I have some medication left, so I can start taking it, and I'm probably going to try and ring the doctors, if not today, then sometime this week, to get myself switched back to 25 milligrams, and all my doctor's calls recently have been like, I want to switch my medication dose, like last year and this year, and avoiding all appointments I actually should be going to for certain checkups that I really need to sort myself out with. So basically I've been struggling. Everything has been overwhelming to me. I've been messing up more at work, and the thing is, it's not like it's hugely noticeable. I've caught myself, and I've been able to correct myself, so that's not so bad, most of the time anyway, but then that gives me anxiety, and I become more stressed. I just struggle to cope with stress anyway without medication, or on a lower dose of medication in this case, but it leads to further anxiety, and it's just so clear to me now why ADHD leads to issues such as anxiety and depression. I've learned so much like these past few weeks, and initially it was all kind of worth it, it was worth it because I got to experience some of the things that I like about having ADHD, but the hyperfocus never kicked in at all. I don't know if that would be like I need to stop taking medication completely to get hyperfocus back, but I need focus. I need to get home in the evening and not just look at the time and suddenly it's 10 o'clock and I haven't done anything, and I need to I need to do things in the evening. I don't want to be so distracted by things. I haven't read a single page of a book since changing medication dose, and I have lots of books to read, and I've bought lots of books and I want to read them, but I just get distracted by my phone and I can't put it down, and I get switched between things, and I'm like, oh, what was I doing? Oh, actually, I was doing this thing, I wanted to know this, and now it's like an hour later and I'm just scrolling through, like, I don't know, googling random stuff and just getting nowhere basically, which is a problem. But this weekend highlighted to me, it was just the worst one, even though the troubles really started, and I hate talking about this stuff, but when my hormones started to change, that's when things really started to get worse for me, and then it just got worse and worse. And even though I'm over that period of time where my hormones should be more balanced out now, and they are more balanced out, I'm still feeling no different to that, which was scary. And it could be some withdrawal effects, and I'm just not willing to risk the next few weeks of feeling like I've been doing, because it's really making things very hard for me. I would say this time has been a lesson in empathy, towards other people who have ADHD, and even towards myself as a person who has ADHD and had suffered for so long, never knowing what was wrong with me, and all of a sudden your life seems to be falling apart and you have no idea why your life is falling apart, but everybody else seems to be okay anyway. And everybody has difficulties, but when the difficulties aren't just every now and again or on a weekly basis, and I realised this recently, when they become an hourly basis thing where your difficulties are with you from moment to moment, there's no escaping them ever. That it's almost and I wouldn't say obviously it's very different, so you probably can't compare this very well, but being in pain all of the time, for example, having a headache all the time, that would become extremely overwhelming, right? And ADHD can be kind of like that in some ways, and obviously there's ways to sort of silence your thoughts through meditation, and other ways like that, but it doesn't last. The effects of that don't last the entire day, and that was my struggle with meditation, even though I find it extremely helpful, and it was so nice to have a break. I can't live like that in this modern world. I can't live like that, just meditating all the time or being in nature all the time. This is the life that I've been provided, and I need to try my best at living it the way that like within my capabilities, and even if that means taking medication. So I just want to address the heart rate thing. Obviously I don't want to address too much in this video, but the heart rate thing, my heart rate went down quite a lot. So actually when I look back at my Fitbit data, when my heart rate was at 99 beats per minute resting, and when I'm like sleeping, it's obviously a lot lower than that, but it just averages out at 99 beats per minute. I think the Fitbit, I don't know, I think the Fitbit calculates your resting heart rate, not exactly how you might do it when you're just like by yourself or whatever. You wouldn't have like so many readings to calculate it based on. You would just do it maybe first thing in the morning, or last thing at night possibly. Yeah, so the heart rate thing, oh yeah, I did have some I wouldn't say palpitations, but like I could feel my heart rate when I was trying to sleep last night, but that could have been because I had caffeine quite close to bedtime. That was not a good idea, but I'm struggling to think things through. So my heart rate, yeah, when it was 99, I was also working 12-hour shifts, and so I was very active during like a big portion of the day. And I was feeling regularly quite exhausted and tired from that. So that's probably where that's from. But yeah, it's generally like early 90s. But what I noticed on my Fitbit data, if I look at like the past year, every month it spikes up and then goes back down and stabilizes. So it could be up to like 94, 95, but then it will go back down to like late 80s or 90. Like, it's very weird. Is it like a big increase in like the variability, but when I'm looking at it, like since at least for the last 4 weeks, I would say maybe 5 weeks actually, I had no peak. Like, it didn't peak up, which was really odd to me. So I think that is possibly something to do with the medication, and then it's just so odd that it's done that every month, and then all of a sudden it's just very stabilized. And you know, my resting heart rate's been like 82, 83, which for me has been really low. It's been the lowest it's been in like years. So, and I know that sounds bad, like I know having a higher heart rate is bad for your health, but you know, it doesn't help that I consume energy drinks, and I also do no exercise, and that's something that I want to try and work on. And I thought maybe I could get myself to exercise when I'm on a lower dose, and that would help me a lot, but I haven't been able to because I just sit at my computer and I just don't really get anything done. And when you don't get anything done and you're feeling overwhelmed already by, you know, you can't filter out things like everybody else, like everything's coming at you, like stronger emotions because of ADHD, you know, what else, like everything around you can't distract, like is a distraction because all the information is coming to you at once. Like, I like the example of like when you're sitting in, say, a cafe and there's lots of conversations going around you, that you find it so hard to concentrate on your own conversation because you can hear everything at once. Yeah, other things as well. Yeah, so I literally have gone from drinking 1 energy drink a day to 2 since I've started this experiment, which, you know, I did drink like 1, I did do like 2 in the past, like occasionally, but it's been a daily thing and it's costing me a fortune. It's costing me like £60 a month. It's ridiculous. I need to stop this awful habit, and I'm doing that now, but making the decision to go down to 1 a day. But you know, I've been feeling stressed and during the day for some reason, you know, not just work but like in life in general, and I'm going home, or I'm just at home in like late afternoon and I'm just grabbing an energy drink, not because I want more energy, but because it's more like abusing it, which sounds really weird, like, because obviously it's not like, it's an addictive substance. It's actually one of the most addictive substances that most people are addicted to, but it's not because of that. It's because it's like why somebody might overeat or binge eat, or you know, spend their evenings drinking lots of alcohol or something like that, is definitely more in an abusive way, which obviously is really unhealthy for me, and I don't want to be in this situation anymore. I want to be able to gain energy and feel less tired, not because I'm drinking energy drinks. I want to do it because I'm looking after my fitness and my diet, and these things, it's been so prevalent to me that I'm just fighting with my mind trying to get myself to do these things, and I'm unable to do that right now. And I don't know how exactly to convince myself to do it, but I can't do it based on it will make me feel better. That's not how my mind works. I generally don't do a lot of things because they make me feel better, clearly. And it's just something I need to figure out. If anyone has any suggestions, please let me know. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. As I said, like I could talk about this a lot longer because there's a lot more to it than what I'm explaining, but you know, like, my house is a tip and it's bothering me, whereas in the past, I think there might be a glider in the sky. I mean, it's really not interesting to anybody else, but I saw one the other morning and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a glider in the sky, like, this early in the morning, and why, and whatever. Anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. I'm just distracted by the sound of the glider. It's really cloudy, so you probably can't see it. I know it's there somewhere, it's the same sound. My house is a mess. So if there's no washing up that I can find, if there's no clothes I can find to wear, you know, there's stuff on the floor that I knocked over and didn't pick up, whereas before I just like pick it up and put stuff, like, I just left it, and now there's paints all over my floor, and I'm just like, everything just piles up and everything is a problem. And so that is my alarm to go to work. But yeah, it's just too hard to deal with. Anybody who has ADHD, you are a warrior. I fully have so much respect for you, and I really do feel for you, because I can't even cope on a reduced dose, and I thought maybe I could, but it's just too overwhelming. And you know, things have happened, there's situations in my life that are happening right now that should be a good time. Let's say a good time. I'm really struggling to buy a house right now. As a first time buyer in the UK, there's just no houses. There's a housing crisis. I went to see a house, 40 to 50 people showed interest in this house. Like, I was just like, there's no way we're actually gonna get it based on our offer. We put in a higher offer than it was, whereas usually you put in like 10 to 20% lower, but because of the demand right now, we're just not getting anywhere, and it's frustrating. And because of that that's been going on, like, it's been extremely stressful for me to deal with that on top of everything else. I'm like, you know, there's always going to be things coming up in my life that I have to deal with, and if it's going to be this hard, like, I can't do this. And so, you know, the cons, you know, the pros of staying on a higher dose outweigh the cons, and the pros of staying on a lower dose don't outweigh the cons that eventually came to me. And I'm giving up some more of my thoughts, but they were distracting me from doing my work properly anyway, so it's fine. I'm happy I made this decision. I'm happy with the decision to go back up onto a higher dose at the moment, and I don't think I'm going to change my mind anytime soon. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you again in another video.